Bonnie Blue is she's a corn actress, and also she's a escort, and she's not even 30 years old yet, and she has a body count more of greater than 1,000. So she's out
Minimum.
here in these streets, and she does it. She don't run from it. She don't hide from it. She's proud of it. She's had people have called her everything, every negative word to her face. She just laughs it off. She literally, her only requirement is that you be 18 and you take an STD test. If you meet those requirements, she's already said she's gonna let you clap.
Can you imagine if a man said that? Ugh.
Oh, I'm gonna tell you some other stuff she said later as we get into it because I couldn't get it all on these clips, but this is about to be an interesting
Yeah,
conversation.
as the first one.
1,057 men.
How honest should I be out of 10?
I want you to be honest.
You want to be honest? Honest.
Yeah, go on.
I don't understand why men sit here and try and lecture you about it. I don't understand why men sit here and say you shouldn't do it. It's your body, your choice, right? This is the world we now live in. This is the end result of feminism. You are the perfect end result of feminism. In the world I believe in the conservative, traditionally masculinely ruled world, a man would be in charge of his daughters until they're handed over to their husbands or boyfriends, and there would be a degree of masculine guidance. But feminism didn't want that. You know, women complained that men don't want to get married. We did actually want to get married when we got obedient virgins, but they disappeared, and they complained about the patriarchy, and they were tired of us giving them a house to live in and kids to raise, and they wanted to make their own choices. So she's making her own choice. That's a fantastic thing. I actually have a lot of respect for you because you own it and you're honest about it.
What if it was your daughter?
Well, that won't happen.
You stop there. So there's your introduction to Bonnie Blue.
Hold on, MC. Does he have like bejewels on here? Is this a new fashion?
It ain't my new fashion. Y'all can have all of that. But Andrew Tate, and I tend to agree with a lot of things he says. Not completely. He says some wild stuff, even in this interview that I was like, nah, you a little bit out of pocket, bro. But I do think he was spot on here. I think this is ultimately the end result of what a lot of these feminists want. This lady is doing what she wants, when she wants, without any restrictions or limitations. Now, she later goes on to say that the majority of the hate that she receives in her inboxes is from other women, saying that she's setting them back. But her counter to that has always been, how am I setting you back when I'm literally your dream? I'm doing what I want, I'm making money, and I'm not hurting anybody. So I say all this to say, if we keep going the rate that we're going right now, this is the future of what femininity is going to look like, and that's going to be very problematic. TR, what say you?
Yeah, I feel like we're already there. Bonnie is just the next incarnation of thought culture and selling everybody. She's been given way more of a platform. Like, nobody knew who Bonnie Blue was. Well, mainstream didn't know who she was until she hit that 1,000. And there was another girl that hit 1,000, or at least tried to get close to 1,000, and no one talks about her anymore, which is wild. But that was the same thing with Bonnie. Nobody talked about Bonnie until she hit that 1,000 mark. Then she starts trending, disappears, starts trending again, and then she linked up with Andrew Tate. And Andrew Tate, I mean, I've seen enough videos from Andrew Tate to say, like, all right, Andrew Tate, I think you might have been scamming some folks. Like, and he said there's one more thing that's questionable that he said, but I'm not gonna go into that one because that'll derail the show. But as far as like, the hate that she's getting, I'd be really surprised if it really was from women, because I think men are more likely to send her all that hate comment and BS and whatnot, which is so weird to me, because a lot of women will say, not Bonnie, but other women have said that work in the industry, or, that are monetized essentially, that they get a lot of hate from men. And it's like, and somebody brought, this was a CGA conversation. CGA was like, do y'all have that same energy with the free ones off of the Corn Hub? Like, or at the S clubs? Like, do you guys have that same energy? They never do. They ain't going into the strip clubs to say, like, hey, I need to save you and stop throwing your money at this woman. They're not going on the Corn Hub and trying to, recently, Corn Hub's been banned in certain states unless you put an ID down. But for the most part, people ain't really complaining about that. It's only on these monetized women. So I'm not trying to say I'm trying to agree with, Andrew Tate, though, but we're seeing eye to eye on what he's trying to say, and also what you're saying too, MC.
See, I think the majority of the men aren't hating. I think they're signing up because, like I
I think
told
even
you,
both.
she literally said in that interview, TR, that she's taking fathers and sons at the same time. She's taking brothers at the same time. This chick is wild. Like, this chick is really, really wild.
Disgusting.
I suspect that these men are signing up and not sending hate mail. But
No, I think it's
yeah.
both. Both are doing it.
I can see that. And just so y'all know, we have a lot of clips from this interview, so we're going to try to get through them all. But this next one is going to be an interesting one.
Oof.
Listened to that man. Women have then said, we don't like the patriarchy. We're tired of being provided for. We're tired of being taken care of. We don't want to listen to anybody. We want to make our own decisions. That was women and feminism that ended the traditional family unit. And now women can make their own decisions. So I'm glad that Bonnie's making her own decision.
Yeah,
I'm
but
not here to
people
tell you not to
say
do it.
I take women back 100 years. I'm like, no, I'm the clear example of how to be empowered. I use my body. I do what I want, when I want. And this is the thing you've been banging on about for years. And when I get hate, like when I click on the comments of these women that are like, oh, you're taking us back 100 years. Then in their bio, it says stay-at-home mom of 2. I'm thinking, what the fuck was you rooting for?
That's
because
right.
you have just stayed
That's
at
right,
home.
Bonnie. See, this is the future.
Yeah.
This is the future. This is fantastic. It's exactly what Western society is headed to.
Jeez.
So my question, and I don't know, TR, you might want to chime in on this. If I suspect we don't have a lot of feminists that listen to us, but for the women who do listen to us,
Not true ones.
yeah, what are you rooting for? Because she just told you that she's living your dream and what you want, to be unrestricted, under no one's direction, doing what you want when you want. She's living your dream according to her. So I want to know, do you agree with her? But TR, where do you stand on this?
I definitely think the feminism agenda has fought for something similar to what Bonnie is saying. Bonnie is saying and doing in some degree is doing. I think the women that are upset with her is because of how unapologetic she's been about it, though. But for the most part, if she was a little bit more humble, I assume that they wouldn't have a problem with it because they would be defending her from top to bottom, from the rooftops, really. Like, nope, she can do whatever, say whatever, her body, her choice, blah, blah, blah. And so I think that's why a lot of women are really, upset with her because she's just so, it's come across like she's, a toy for men and they want her to be angry with men and whatnot, which is like, well, she's getting the money, she's getting paid. Isn't that what most women want out of the relationships? You can kind of dictate the terms on when you want to be a skeezer and when you want to be a wife or a girlfriend. Like, I think that's what it really is. And also, they can't do it online like her because they don't want the backlash and they don't want the digital footprint on that either.
Yeah, I wonder if she's going to have some regrets about this later on in life. But women, I really want y'all to jump in the comments and tell me your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, I definitely want to hear what people sound off as well, too.
No doubt.
Here's the next clip.
A sex worker, like an escort. And I used to judge men that cheated. And then when I actually started speaking to these men, I was like, you know what? They've got a point. They're going to work. They're looking after their kids. They're still emptying the dishes because the wife's now refusing to do that, saying it should be equal. And then I say, well, when's the last time she gave you a blowjob? When's the last time she fucked you? They couldn't name it. They couldn't even list the amount of times where they've had sexual intercourse. I'm like, of course you're going to need that. Of course you're going to cheat. So how can I ever say women are anything but lazy and poorly educated?
So do you think you're a good role model for women?
I'm a clear example of what women have fought for years. Of
what?
Taking control of your body.
Correct.
Being independent. I earn my own money. I don't rely on a guy. I'm
Girl
paid
power.
Exactly. I'm paid more than other guys.
I can't stand these people. This is a very difficult watch. Like, we got two scumbags on here.
So here, she actually says a point that I've made on earlier episodes of this podcast, and I stand 10 toes down on this.
Yeah.
Some of the laziest people in relationships are married people. And she kind of hit on that. Like, married people are like really lazy when it comes to dating and courting because for some reason in a lot of their heads they think, okay, I got the ring. Now I don't have to do anything. It's evident in a lot of marriages. Go ahead.
I'm gonna push back on that. So you're we agree about the laziness, but if you had to assign a blame meter, who's getting the most blame in being lazy between men and women marriages?
Well, I don't know who's getting the most blame, but if you ask me to pick one or the other, I'd say women easily. Not
Okay,
even
yeah,
close.
yeah. And so when you bring that up, it seems like a lot of men are just accepting these terrible arrangements, these terrible deals. For her to be at, and I'm assuming these are men that she's cheating with or trying to have a relationships with. For a lot of these,
She said about 88% of the people she deals with are married.
oh yeah, yeah, well that's true too. A lot of people don't like have that conversation. Most of those OnlyFans fans are mainly men,
Yeah,
or I mean, sorry, men are mainly
married men.
married men. So yeah, she confirms that. This is, I mean, a lot of men don't like to have this conversation, but the majority of those men are married men. They're not single men, or well, I mean, some are single men, but the majority of them are married men though. So when it comes to like when Bonnie is like having this conversation about you know, your wife is not doing XYZ. Yeah, I get that. It's just that Bonnie really should not be delivering this message. And the one thing that the men have to do, especially married men, again, I'm not married, MC's married. And so what I've been seeing is that a lot of y'all are not getting y'all get the Gawk 3000 on your birthday, Father's Day, maybe Valentine's Day, but that's weird to me. There's if that's what marriage is, because I was like, man, maybe I can still get married because I'm in my 40s, early 40s, and maybe I can still get married, and this might be an opportunity. If that's what comes with it, then you're telling me that I don't need to be married. You're telling me that I need to put some rules and guidelines into this marriage, and it'll be a long time before I even think about marrying a chick though, because I was like, well, you can really wait like 1 or 2 years. Part of the reason you're making them wait is to see how they act up. And so when they start putting, trying to ration out the goods, that's how you know that this woman is just, a chameleon, just saying things and doing things until she gets the security, and then she'll do the bait and switch. Well, I'm not saying bait and switch happens to everybody though, but a lot of these women, I mean, a lot of these married men will say, and honestly, here's the other thing too. I read the marriage Reddit page, and that is depressing as fuck, because a lot of these men, they're on here talking about, my wife hasn't sucked my duct since since we were in college or when we were single or before the kids. I'm like, man, divorce your wife. And everybody's trying, hey, cheer up, just go to therapy and we'll figure it, and you'll definitely figure it out. Nope. Because I guarantee you she is probably thinking about ducking, sucking somebody else, and or getting her cheeks clapped by some other person. Like, generally men are the last to know. And if your wife is not screwing you, she's thinking about she's screwing somebody else, or she's thinking about screwing somebody else.
Yeah. I think a lot of people aren't having the right conversations before they get married, because a lot of women expect monogamy, which means they want a complete and total control over your sexual satisfaction.
True.
But men never follow up on that conversation, because how it should go is, okay,
Fire.
you want monogamy, you want all of my sexual contact to be with you. Are you up to the challenge of giving me X, Y, and Z? Because I want X, Y, and Z. If you're not going to do, you can't just do X. You can't do X and Y. I need X, Y, and Z. Whatever your X, Y, and Z is, fellas. And that's when you got to start pushing back, because with monogamy sometimes comes laziness. Men have to do a better job of saying, if this thing is going to be monogamous, here's what I need from you. Can you handle that? Yes or no? And then hold them accountable if they don't. Nope, this is what you said. Ain't no switching up now. Look, if you tired because of the kids or the job, okay, let's work something out. But no, you got a responsibility now. We never talk about the duty part of marriage. All we talk about is the ceremony and this fairy tale that everybody's made up, but we never talk about the duties, the accountabilities, and responsibilities. And it makes it easier for chicks like her to slide in and ruin a marriage.
Yeah, that's true. I saw this on a panel, and some guy was saying that wives need to start having conversations with side chicks, because that's how they'll get their marriage back in order or stop the side chick from sliding through. And it actually kind of makes sense to a degree, though, because for a lot of women, they're going to think, well, this is normal. This is, he doesn't want a BJ from me. He doesn't, want me to send him, sneaky pics or links or whatever. He doesn't want me doing any of that stuff. And it's like, well, who told y'all that? Who lied to y'all, telling y'all that, you don't have to do anything because you had a kid or whatever. If anything, you got to do more of it, because he, you probably had all your fun at the beginning before you had kids or before the first part of your marriage or how long you've been married. But when you get over 5 years or maybe you had a couple of kids involved as well too, you got to start doing more. He's got to be able to walk around and smack your ass and say, this is his. Like, if men cannot do that, then that tells me that in your relationship, it's definitely capped in the desire. That burning desire is gone, because I guarantee you, I didn't know. I think men have an idea what burning desire is, and maybe they've seen it to some degree. But MC, I don't know if you've seen this video, but this video went viral a couple of years ago where it was like this giant cowboy dude, white dude, Chad. And he's like, again, women love cowboys. That's just what it is. All right. But this dude was like jacked. He's like walking around in a carnival, and they're walking behind him, catching like all of the women reactions. That's burning desire. And most men will never see that level of burning desire. You had women with their men that are sneaking looks at this guy. Like, for a lot of guys, I can't look at another woman. My wife will smack you, blah, blah, blah. These women were looking at this giant 6'8" cowboy dude. And the dude was muscular too, as well too. So for a lot of men, that's who you're going to probably lose your chick out to at some point, though, because you can be more accomplished. You might be even taller than that guy. You might be as muscular as that guy, wherever the case is. Once they stop seeing you as like some, a desirable male, it's over. It's almost like you have to get a divorce at some point, though. Like, she's not going to want to do any of those things. You're going to have to almost like pay her to kind of do things. There's another meme that I've seen where a guy is like, if I do all these chores, I get to cash in like points to the bedroom. It's like, man, this is terrible. You simps.
It kind of reminds me, you remember when we talked about that male-female attractability matrix? It's the exact same thing. It's like the top 10 to 20% of men is smashing out 80% of the women, and everybody else got to deal with what's left over. So you're either dealing with that 20% leftovers, or you're dealing with everything else that's out there that basically ain't as desirable. And those are choices that men got to deal with on a daily basis. We just talked about K. Michelle last week. I told y'all when she made all those comments, she wasn't talking about the regular ninjas. She was talking about athletes, rappers, and celebrities.
Yeah.
She wasn't thinking about no regular person when she said that, or she wouldn't have said it.
Facts. Yep. Oops.
I don't know hoes. You think I haven't seen it? You think I haven't walked in the toilet and some bitch has got 5 dudes hanging out of her? This is the Western world. This is feminism. This is what all you white boys wanted. All you white men listening to women all the time. Women get to opinions all of a sudden. This is what you.
Okay, look, black men want that shit too.
Yeah. I was going to say that after we played this clip, because it's a lot of black people, a lot of black men encouraging this too.
Hold on, see. Sorry. Yeah, I don't understand.
We just got done talking about one, Diddy.
Yeah, Diddy. Yeah. Which is funny. I found out real quick, just to pivot. I found out that Cassie is Filipino. I thought she was black, which is
a lot of them get mistaken for being. If you know the history of the Philippines, you will understand why there were a lot of black soldiers that abandoned the U.S. and moved to the Philippines. So there's a lot of black dudes over there, and there's a lot of biracial Filipinos.
Definitely. So, but he says white boys and everything. I was like black men want feminine women as well too. We don't go about it different ways. Honestly, I think everybody has an idea what that looks like though. But I think with women or with white women, from what I've seen, they are feminine up front. They know how to act and public settings. I feel like in most cases though, like we saw with like
That's all
I get,
going away, TR. That's all fake going.
that's true too. But we saw with like Travis Hunter chick, where I think she's Latino or whatever the hell she is. But we saw that I've never seen a woman that was, with a upcoming draftee. I've never seen a woman just do a whole bunch of silly shit and embarrass them. And I'm sure, and the funny thing is most athletes marry black women, or most black athletes marry black women. But a lot of times those black women are even showcased. Like I would feel like that would be a better conversation though. And I'm sure they're probably not embarrassing. If they did embarrass their man, they probably would be all over the place as well too. But when it comes to like, getting with that athlete, again, like I said, a lot of these women, they're chameleons. They start doing, they'll do like, yes. And, they'll be very understanding at the beginning. And then once they get the kids, once they get the marriage and all that stuff, that's when you start to see their true colors. And what I've seen on the counterpart when it comes to black women, from what I've seen is that I think it varies where maybe not up front, but once you're all put together, you can have that earned femininity from them, which I don't know if that's actually a bad thing though, because I know it sounds kind of like shallow, but if you are that dude and you've worked your way up, you're going to probably want a top tier woman, a woman that is feminine, a woman that's going to be a good match for you. I should say match because that doesn't mean anything, but a woman that is going to be a great, person for you. You want that person all put together. You don't want this snake sitting in the wind and just waiting to strike you. Like, because that's what I see happening a lot when a lot of these athletes go after some of these women. They're like, well, yeah, I want to get a divorce. I'd rather know who you are when you show up and then work it from there, because at least I can prepare. Most of the time, these men, when they get that divorce, the woman initiated divorce, we just covered that one case where the football player, where the woman is saying, hey, we've been together for 3 years. I want to know who the paternity of the father is, and I want child support. That's a woman you've been with for like 2-3 years. What the hell is that about? So I can see how people make a case for one or the other.
Hey, TR, I got to do this real quick, and I'm so glad you paused it here. I just got a text. My friend that's a producer that watches our show. Him and his wife actually watch our show together. They don't watch it live.
Hey, shout out to them.
His wife asked me to ask this question of the men. She said she's going to read the comments on this video. She said, keep it real, fellas, with those legs and that accent and those eyes. If you didn't know what she did for a living, yes or no, would you go in?
Oh, yeah, they're smashing. Yeah, men are smashing.
I think she's presenting that question in the sense of what type of questions are you going to ask her to figure, or are you even going to ask those questions to figure out what she does for a living?
Oh.
How many men do you think would dig into her and see who she actually is before they go live? I think, that's exactly what she wanted me to ask that
question. Yeah. I mean, but here's the thing. All right, is that the whole clip, MC, on that one?
Yeah, we can go to the next clip. We got a good convo going right now.
Okay, yeah. I was just going to say, I know men are still going to hit this, unfortunately. I mean, we know at least 1,000 men hit this. And if Bonnie Boo showed up, I mean, there'll be a few more men hitting this. This is just, I don't know, man. What I've learned is a woman with a ton of body counts, that just disgusts me. 1,000 men, there's no coming back from that.
I'm glad you said that, because we're going to get to what you just said in just a minute here. We got 2 more clips to share with y'all. And then we're going to come back and talk about this a little bit more.
Right.
Well, we have to be careful. I'm under investigation here. But it depends, because there's different categories of women.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Everything in life is actually fine if you keep everything in the right place. If you use a fork for forking and a spoon for spooning, everything's fine. It only gets confusing when you try and mix the two up. All men love whores. Men love whores.
That's true.
What good technique.
Of course. Any man who sits there and says,
do you love whores then?
Any man who says he doesn't love whores is a fucking liar.
So you love whores?
Well, if I'm on a boat in Miami, I don't want
Would you
nuns.
prefer a blowjob with your teeth or the mouth? You need someone with experience.
Did you see this motherfucker?
I told you, she don't care, man. Like, people have called her all these names to her face, and she does not care.
Oh man, I think I messed it up. Hold on.
No, it's all good.
Does it bother you?
But it depends.
I mean,
Because-
surely your best place to go then is high school.
Well, we have to be careful. I'm under investigation here, but
See,
it de-
this motherfucker. And she was wild for saying that shit. That was a goddamn trap, is what she
It
said,
was-
or what
it
she
was
did.
Definitely a trap. Definitely a
depends
trap.
because there's different categories of women,
Mm-hmm.
right? Everything in life is actually fine if you keep everything in the right place. If you use a fork for forking,
I
a
went too
spoon
far
for
back.
spooning, everything's fine. It only gets confusing when you try and mix the two up. All men love whores. Men love whores,
We've got good technique.
of course. Any
Andrew
man who
knows.
sits there and
So
says
you
he
love
does-
horse then?
and well, any man who says he doesn't love whores is a fucking liar.
So you love horse?
Well, if I'm on a boat in Miami, I don't want.
Would you
nuns.
prefer a blowjob with your teeth or the mouth? You need someone with experience.
Look at he act like he doesn't even get blowjob. Like, well, you know what? My wife, she does get. I don't know if this guy's married, but he sounds like he gets a lot of teeth on his thing. But real quick, MC, did you see what she said when she? I didn't even pick this up until I watched it the second time. She said, do you want a woman with technique? Do I? She's basically saying, do you want a woman who's had all this experience, who's been slutted out and throat baby? Man,
Here's where it gets weird, TR.
this is
And
where it gets weird.
We've talked about this on a previous show too. Studies show that men want women who are as pure as they can possibly be. But studies also show that women want a man who is experienced and can blow her back out. So how do you rectify that? You rectify that by finally admitting what everybody else with a brain knows. Men can't move like women and women can't move like men. How are you going to balance a pure woman who also knows what to do with her gums and her teeth? Because if she already knows how to do that, that means somebody else taught her, right?
Yeah.
So the reality of the situation is, and this is going to hurt, most women have been somebody else's F toy.
Yeah.
They just have. And if you want a woman who is pure and inexperienced, at the very least, you better make sure she's teachable, or you're going to be in a sexually frustrating marriage.
Here's the thing. So when people say pure, what they're trying to say, and what Bonnie was trying to allude, I think that maybe she mentioned that in the previous comment or the conversation, is that you want somebody that's in high school. And it's like, why is it that when these women get to college, they have this programming that says, all right, we're going to have our hoe phase. A lot of them are okay with that. It's almost like preached upon. It's like, why do y'all like collectively as women who are supposed to be looking out for women, why do y'all think this is an okay thing to do when you get to college? Because I didn't, when I was growing up, I don't remember that even being a conversation. Again, going from, high school to college, I didn't even realize that was even a thing until, a little bit later after college. Like, oh yeah, women are having a whole phase. And most men, you're not getting as many, you'll never be able to get as many partners as the woman does. Like, not even freaking close. And so dude, let me tell you this story, quick story. There was this chick that I was talking to, and it was like on again, off again every now and then. And so, but one time she told me a story because she had just got a divorce, and she had made some comment. I forgot how we got to it though, but she had made a comment like when she was, when she was married, she was dating this guy in college that she eventually married to. Okay. She said one time he had dropped her off. Again, this is the guy that she married in college. She had dropped him off. Oh, it was how she got pregnant. That's what it was. Okay. So she had dropped him off, or he had dropped her off at college. She had another dude. She called up another dude to come blow her back out. This is the guy that she dropped her off, was the guy that she married. And she called another dude to come blow her back out while they're in college. And then again, she spun the block and went back to the other dude, got knocked up. And then that's when she ended up marrying and then also divorcing. But the point is, women are like Bonnie Blue, is very unapologetic when it comes to having these types of conversations or, about their sexuality. And when you want a pure woman, you're not going to get a pure woman. Most cases, you're not going to get a pure woman. And that's part of the reason I had a problem with Charlie Kirk when he was talking to all those women at the college. Like, these women are not pure. They're not, if they don't have sex, they're going to do other stuff. So is that better? Would you rather your girl eat 1,000 Johnsons, but then hey, she's never been penetrated. Like, pick which problem you want. I think you can kind of get a girl that's hasn't been slutted out when she's in college, but you're gonna have to ask a
Love
lot of
finding one of
questions. Yeah, you're gonna have to ask a lot of questions to get to if she's been slutted out, and you're gonna have to test it. You're gonna have to see like, hey, you move your back way too well. You're very good at your net game. Like, if
You know what to say, how to shift, how to move, how to
yep,
respond. You know way too many answers to these, and
yep,
somebody fed you the answers to the test.
yep, yeah, fed. You're right. Fed her the answers. Goddamn right. Yeah, so yeah, for men, Bonnie, she's off on this one. You don't want a woman that nobody wants their future girlfriend or future wife to have all of these techniques at that level, because when you get there, you're gonna be like, hey, who taught you that, or how did you learn how to do this? Like, it's gonna mess with your mind, dude. No, full disclosure, there was one thing that this one chick, and I was like, why are you so good at it? I was like, oh, that's why. That's why you're good at it. And
Yep.
it fucked my mind up.
And I keep telling women this too. One of the best things about being with a woman is experiencing something with her for the first time.
Facts.
Whether it's a vacation, whether it's something in the bedroom, some type of life experience. And
Wait, hold on, MC.
the problem that we're running into with a lot of these women is you've already done everything. You have lived a full life by the time you were 30, so you have nothing left to enjoy in the second part of your life. You already gave another man your kids. You already gave another man all of your orifices, your holes. You've already been all around the world taking all these contracts and being a sugar baby. You have nothing new to enjoy. And that's very unappealing to a lot of men.
Hold on, MC. Look, I gotta go back to something. You said, whether it's in the bedroom or visiting, they've experienced a lot of those things. But if you find out your girl has, let's say, like, we're in her 30s, and you find out your girl's been to all these several places, she was getting slutted out. That's even worse.
That was exactly my point.
Okay, all right.
That's what I'm saying. She's been to all these different places.
You should have said that.
That's what I said. You just misheard me. That's exactly what I said. If she's been to Dubai, we know how IG models make money. They take Dubai contracts and they go over there and get the R. Kelly experience.
Right.
We already know this.
You mean the Cassie experience?
Well, yeah, the Cassie experience too. And that's the reality. And this is, again, why it's so important for men to ask questions about their past and their body count. Don't let her off the hook. If she don't want to talk about her past, it's a red flag, bro. It is a red flag.
We got one more clip though, but that's a very good point though. Men have to keep probing these questions, because if you let her, give you like a half answer, or she doesn't even give you an answer, there's something there. That's when the lie of omission, or whatever it's called, however it's said. That's when they start doing that stuff. And I understand with like a lot of men, like, this is the thing, is that, men, if you found out that your girl, if you knew about your girl's past, you would lose your mind. This is honestly like the whole Alex Fine thing, because I know for a fact Alex Fine did not know. I don't know for a fact, but 99% chance that Alex Fine didn't know about Cassie's history until, they figured out they were broke and had to move in with their parents. That was like, hey, how can we get some money? Well, I got a story to tell. So if you can handle it, we can make some money off this story. And so I guarantee you, he did not know about her past, because had he known it, he would have turned around. But, to your friend's point about, if you didn't know the past and you saw what she looked like, most men are going for it though. So you're right. Men do have to start asking questions, whether, they're difficult questions or not. And does that make her less of a woman? If you found out about 1,000 bodies, midway through your marriage, you're going to divorce her? Most men are probably like, well, it was before me, so no big deal. Shit.
If she liked you as much as she says she do, she shouldn't have any problem telling you who she really is.
That's true too.
But yeah, we got one more clip. TR, I think you might appreciate this one because it kind of ties into our last conversation about Diddy.
Are gay.
No, it can be intimidating though for guys.
No, not.
Wait, hold on. What do you say?
Yeah, go back. Yeah,
I knew you
start
were
right there.
trans. However,
Yeah.
I would argue that a lot of the men who fuck you are gay.
No, it can be intimidating though for guys.
No, it's not about intimidation. They are gay.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are, because
Their dick is entering a pussy.
there's too much male DNA all around that scenario. The reason I find female promiscuity, by and large, for my personal sexual appetite, quite disgusting, is because I don't like the thought of other men anywhere near what I'm gonna fuck. I'm so not gay that I don't like that there have been men there.
Except if you're on a boat with 25 of them.
Well, if that's whoreland. When you're on if you're in whoreland.
See, I can't stand this
Whoreland.
motherfucker.
So that's the fault.
Fucking stop this shit.
Just go ahead and
cannot
stop it
stand
because the point was made.
I can't stand this motherfucker because he tries that he dances around it. I never got on the Andrew Tate bullshit because there was something always weird about how he did his messaging and how he was all over the place though. And then it pisses me off that I have to like try to defend Bonnie's bullshit because he's calling men gay. And it's like, on one hand, you are somewhat right, but
ain't no somewhat about it, TR. If you in a room with a whole bunch of dudes try to set it off with a chick, that's zesty behavior. You know that's zesty behavior.
I know what you mean though, but then we got a lot of rappers we got to start holding accountable that have did some stuff like this.
I said what I said.
A lot of train games.
Zesty too. I never ever me and you have been friends since the 7th grade. I never ever want to be in a situation like that with you, and I'm sure you feel the same way about me.
Man, all I'm saying,
never understood it. I don't comprehend stuff like that.
Okay, but you know what, MC? This is where defend this. What are we gonna do about the strip clubs and strippers?
What you mean? What we gonna do? They're gonna go and they're gonna waste their money.
They're gonna go waste their money, but they're all they are showing the same goods that some dude was just slobbering on. So when you go get those private dances, some dude has already been on top of that stuff. Like,
we know this is a simp economy, TR. Simps create economies for
no.
people.
Are they? Is that gay too? That's the question. Is that rainbow?
Going to a strip club? As a
Why
man,
are you dancing around it? Here,
no, I'm about to answer your question right now. As a man,
hold on.
I can do some shuffling too. Look out, man! What you gonna do? Look out, boys! It's coming through. Yeah, man! Yeah, man!
That's what you're doing right now.
To that ninja earlier, that's what buck dancing looks like to that ninja earlier, by the way. I was about to answer your question. You just didn't like the speed I was going to answer.
Go ahead.
The answer to your question is it's weirdo shit. If you are a man and you don't know how to talk to, be in the presence of, and deal with different types of women, you are a weirdo and you low-key kind of zesty. Step your man game up. Learn how to talk to people. Learn how to be social with people. Learn how to be a man in a room full of women.
Okay, hold on. Let me reframe my question. Okay. If you go to the strip club and we know this, and you get a private dance, and we know another ninja has been all over that, and they clean themselves off and they go to the next guy. By Andrew Tate's definition, even though the guys aren't standing, they're still in the same room. Is that gay? That's all I'm trying to ask you.
It's weird. It's you can call it that if you want to, but it's nothing I would do. It's weird. Right. It's weird as hell. Why? Like, why can't you just go out and get something for? Well, technically, most of them aren't. They out here for everybody, right?
Well, they're married men. That's why they're there.
And that's the issue right there. I told you some of the laziest people are people who are married, particularly married women. It's a fact. I know way too many unhappily married men who ain't touched their wives. You gonna have to prove me wrong on that one. And this is typically the part where people jump in and say, "Well, that ain't me. That ain't me." Well, guess what? You're the exception, but that doesn't disprove what I just said.
Yeah, if anything, it confirms, what they're trying to say is that, that's not going to be me. You're in a small percentage of men that are having have a healthy sexual relationship with their wives. Also another fun fact, there's a 80%
before you go, TR.
All right,
dirty secret. And this is going to offend some people, but I'm telling you, there's a reason why they say it's not yours anymore, it's mine. Like a lot of women don't want to accept that, but it's true.
That's very true. Yeah.
Ice Cube went on a podcast and he said, "She is mine and I am hers."
Wait, what?
You better hear yes way more than you hear no, or your marriage is dysfunctional.
What do you mean by he is hers?
She is mine and I am hers. That basically means that you should, as a married person, get the thumbs up way more than you get the "I can't do this tonight." That's one of the reasons why you get married.
Okay.
It's supposed to be free flowing like that.
Okay. All right. I just had to make it sense in my head. I was thinking something else though, but when you say it like that, yeah, like, okay. Yeah, I
see Brando basically just shortened what I just said. That's why I didn't call it gay. I called it weird.
I was asking you, yeah.
It's weird. That's why I didn't want to call it gay, but it's weird as hell.
All right. I mean, but that's why I had such a problem with what's his face? Andrew Tate talking about it though, because he called it straight gay. He said it was gay, and it's like to some degree, yes, but I mean, if they're doing a train, then you got to start calling all these men gay. And so I'm not going to say that they're gay. That's why I was trying to ask you. And I don't know. Again, trains, like, you know, when I was growing up, when I heard about trains, I'm like, man, that sounds fun. And then as you get older, you're like, everything that comes along with that. Like, look, I'll be transparent. I ain't never did anything like that. And when it comes to stuff like that, I mean, like, no, I'm not jumping in on anything. I'm not being involved with like, hey, it's your turn. Hey, go ahead and knock it out, big dog. Like, I ain't doing any of that stuff. But
there's no heterosexual reason for men to be in the room at the same time for a sex thing. None.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's just we're at the point where it's gay to do trains.
And I do
borderline.
And for the record, at the Black Phoenix podcast, we talk about people that we agree and disagree with. I don't agree with everything Andrew Tate says. He says a lot of wild stuff. He made a comment later on this same podcast that men who spend more than an hour a week with their kids is a sign of weakness, and that is a very stupid statement.
Yeah, I'm glad you didn't play that though, because I would have just turned it off though. Like,
very stupid statement.
I when it comes to Andrew Tate though, he can probably he can be right about some things, but then other times it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, yeah, where are we going with this?
Just like most people.
And then with Bonnie Blue though, it's like then you got to start defending Bonnie Blue, because even though she's right, she's just right for the wrong reasons, if that's even possible though. But
regardless of how you feel about Bonnie Blue, you have to respect her honesty. She tells you what she does right from the jump. She's not lying and try to hide it. A lot of these women are 304s and they try to pretend like they're not.
I would almost love to hear from women. Actually, maybe I was gonna say comments, but it's hard to see if there's any women on here. So
no, but I know when you post the recording, we'll start getting all those comments for sure.
Definitely. So, all right, that is going to wrap up tonight's show. We may do a special one, especially over at Ironheart. It kind of got pivoted because we're catching up on all of the episodes, though. But we have a lot of conversation there, and I'm sure there'll be some more follow-up about Diddy, though. So, final words, MC?
Yeah, I know, TR, you wanted to have a political topic tonight. I'm going to just do a real quick run through. CNN low-key kind of said that Trump had one of the best weeks ever.
Oh, I saw that.
And they cited a couple of things. I'm going to be real quick because I know we're getting ready to shut it down. NATO has agreed to increase their defense spending without U.S. involvement. That's a win for the United States. Trump brokers a peace deal in the Congo. I don't know if y'all know about the Congo, but they've been fighting for a very long time.
If I had that video, I would have played it, because he's talking to a very lovely chocolatey woman.
She was.
Again, you know me, I don't like the whole short haircut and everything, but it worked on her.
Yeah, it works on some of them. New trade deal with China expected to be announced. It's supposed to have very favorable terms. Should be dropping any day now. The S&P 500 had one of the greatest weeks it's had in a very long time. GE has committed to $480 million investment to bring jobs to Kentucky. Border crossings are down 93%. Latino support for Trump, according to Pew data, shows that he's had increased Latino support.
For real.
There's a longer list here, but I'm just a real quick week of politics. It's going to be real interesting to see how the Dems counter some of this stuff and if they can adjust.
Yeah. So, all right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.
Peace.